motion print, get with it or get lost. Yo, motion print, get with it, get lost. Just left the gym. Now I'm at the library. Today we're gonna talk about Wall Street Journal, what's going on. Yes, sir. We're gonna go with today's Wall Street Journal for Monday, August 4th. And then we're also gonna go with the weekend that just passed, Wall Street Journal, August 2nd. And basically we're gonna go with a quick review and see what's been the market been doing. I want to touch base with the week that just passed, the weekend. So we'll start off with August 2nd before we even go on with what happened recently. So kind of want to go off. So it talked about how the market was on a downtrend. Let's see if the market gonna go up or continue to go down. It says hiring slows sharply in summer. So they talked about after they haven't cut rates, they kept rates the same, which caused the market to go down, right? But this morning Trump said that the job unemployment rate was rigged. Once he said that this morning, before the market opened around 9 o'clock, the market started going up. And yeah. Alright, so I'm going to be running back. I heard I went over this already. It says the U.S. hiring was slower last month. It says continue from page 1, economic data to be distorted for political reasons. Unemployment rate rose slightly to 4.2% from 4.1. The numbers of people unemployed for 27 weeks or longer increased to 1.83 million from 1.65 million in June. Alright, something else that I found interesting was it says all three major stock indexes fell on Friday. The tech-heavy NASDAQ lost 2.2%, snapping a streak of 19 trading days without a 1% move. So every move was between negative or no more than 1%, so 0.9, 0.8, 0.7. It was just consolidating between that range. It says streak of 19 days without a 1% move in either direction, the longest such stretch since July 2021. The S&P 500 was down 1.6%, and the Dow Jones Industrial Average lost about 540 points, or 1.2%, and capped its worst week since Trump Liberation Day. Tariff and early April yields also fell as investors rushed to buy treasuries after the job report. So pay attention. Investors buy treasuries. Treasuries, you kind of want to invest into the long term. When you invest into long-term contracts, they're more volatile. So they would invest into those instead of equities, which is stock price movement, price actions. The fact that they're not moving, you would have to invest into long-term investing. So even though Trump said the unemployment rate numbers was rigged, I'm kind of iffy about it because now look at this. It says stop the ICE workplace raid. The fact that ICE is importing a lot of people back to their countries, it's causing a lot of people not to work because they're not working in America anymore. Jobs are being lost in America because immigrants are going back home. So that's what's causing that. If you can see that. So that's what's causing that. And yeah, so I don't know if it's rigged, but the fact that he said it, the market went up. I made 37% profit, which is 35. I'm sorry. Okay, again, this is from this weekend. I'm gonna show you today's, which is the updated version. As you can see, the price for the weekend shows last week, which the market dropped harshly. It gapped down. So the fact that it gapped down, it might gap up. And something else I want to show you, the yield, the treasury yield. So I was telling you about long-term investing. It's longer than the narrow. So when this is higher than the narrow, then you want to do longer-term investment trading, which cause profit in the longer-term contracts, which is like months out, versus buying stocks from today. Hold on. The worst type of banana to eat is the green ones, because you can never open them. Oh shit. Employment rate, American job searches take longer. Um, does have airline testing of AI to potentially boost revenue, raise privacy objections from observers who fear the tool could be used to tailor flares in individual circumstances. So basically, Delta Airline is trying something where, based on your income and salary, you will get price of flights. So if you're a higher wealthy class, your flights will be more expensive, and then if you're a more poor class, your flights tend to be cheaper. So that's pretty cool. Artificial intelligence is changing the way McKinsey works with clients, how it hires, and what projects it takes on, with profound implications for the consulting firm in the future. Boeing leaders were set to face another picket line after mechanics in the company's St. Louis area defense rejected their latest contract offers. Berkshire Hathaway reported a 4% drop in quarterly earnings after results from the conglomerate insurance business weakened from a year earlier. Why is that? Because um, the owner of Berkshire Hathaway, he basically dropping from CEO and retiring, so the market just been on a downtrend. And then worldwide, U.S. and China face the first test of their plans to artificial intelligence dominance this week, will when the superpower pitch Asian countries on their variants of the technology. Democrats in Texas state's House fled in the states in attempt to thwart plans by Trump and Governor Greg Abbott to redraw the state congressional districts to add 5 new Republican seats. Yeah. So something else that don't sit right with me is it says labor statistic chief fired by Trump viewed as forthcoming nonpartisan. So Trump fired a lot of people that was working in the government. A lot of people, like more than about almost half the people that was working under the government. Since Trump was elected, he fired all of them. That's skeptical for me. I call them low keys. Low keys are people that kept their job and stayed, and they fired the people like that aren't low keys. So they kind of are outsiders versus the low keys have insider of like they know exactly what's going on within the economy. So I thought that was interesting. Um, so they fired the person who was supposed to check like the labor statistics, and now the numbers are just off, which caused the market to go down. But like I said, Trump said that it's rigged, and the market's just been going up since that. It's just we'll just see how things go from there. All right, so these are basically the imports in each country. So for European Union, which made the biggest trade deal with the U.S. of $75 billion, U.S. imports it's high, and exports is lower than what they intaking. And then for Canada, it's also high, higher. For China, it dropped a lot, but it's still higher. And it's still in the range. Hopefully, it bounced back at the bottom at the double peak, and then both bounce on the upside. And then for South Korea, seems all-time high. Taiwan, all-time high. And then UK, eh, it's all right. And then lastly, India, it's all-time high for imports from the U.S. So right here, it looked like the U.S. dollar had been going down lately, but it looked like it bottomed out from this previous, and then now it should be on an uptrend. Hopefully, the market turns around and starts going up. It looks like it bottomed out compared to the euro and the yen. Remember, I told you there's 3 main markets: the United States, Asia, and the Europeans. So let's see where it goes. All right. So when you're investing into bonds or long-term uh, currencies, with like yields, let's say if you want to focus on yields instead of equities, you want to look into these. So we have the U.S. Treasuries, U.S. Treasury longs, aggregate bonds, fixed rate bonds, high yield bonds, which is junk bonds, municipal, and global bonds. So you look at these and trying to see how, or pay attention how they are performing, and then invest into the best performers. 3 year and 52 weeks. Look like the global bonds are just destroying everything, as well as the Junk municipal bonds. That's pretty interesting. I've been slipped on that. Alright, last but not least, the bonds. It's gonna be a quick walkthrough. I kind of wanna, or I like investing or looking at the bonds because you see the trading volume and where the trades are being done throughout the week. So right now this week, let's say they're focusing on communication service sectors. As you can see here, and they have the stocks that are being invested in. Alright, I could go in greater details, but let's just keep it short and simple. Let me just find it. Alright, so we have the half hours of the Dow Jones half hour averages. We have the transportation, the utilities, and then the composite. And then the trading diaries. And they basically tell you where the trading is being done for each. Let's show you something. So if we look at the stock volume, you can see out of the indices which is the most trading that's being done or that was done throughout the week. We have the NASDAQ industry, transportation, utilities, and the 65 composite. And then like the last week, previous week, a year ago, so like how they performed a year ago compared to this year, the year over year change. And then the daily stock volume on each indices, and then the day they perform where the most volume is occurring. We'll break. I'll go into details about that later, but this is what I kind of want to focus on. NYC half hour volume. You can see majority of volume is being done at 3:30 to 4 o'clock, which is the end of the day. They're making over 100,000 volume being traded, shares being traded, versus when the market opens, there's not much trading being done. So you want to do your investing towards the end of the day, which is something interesting to look at. As you can see here, we're in a bullish settlement. So the stock is in all-time highs, S&P 500 as well as the NASDAQ 100.